Hey guys, what's up? What's up? Welcome to the Sweet Fire Soul Revival YouTube channel. If we have never met before, my name is Joe, and if we have, welcome back. So, this week's Find Your Light Friday reading is kind of amazing. So, we are headed into eclipse season as we do every summer, and the first one is happening on the 2nd of July. And it coincides with the new moon in Cancer, right? So, new moons, I always say, are really good times for working with the shadow because it's dark of the moon. We want to use that energy to clear things away. We want to look at what is holding us back before we start planting new seeds, right? And you've probably heard me say this before, but think about it this way. If you have a little plot of land and it's, your garden and you just keep planting new seeds on top of the old ones, what's going to happen? A lot of those things are going to die. Things are probably not going to grow. So it's really important that we clear out the old shit before we start planting the new shit, right? So if there's things that you're looking at in your garden that you're like, yeah, I really like this and I like where it is, so I'm just going to leave it there, but this is all dead and I don't really like it or want it anymore, I'm going to try something new this time, clear that out. But you have to acknowledge it. You have to figure out what it is that's not working for you anymore. Figure out what it is that's just past its prime, it's expired, it's done, okay? So use that time. And with these moons, really, in my experience, the days leading up to full moons are really, really potent, as well as the days after. And the same goes with new moons. The days leading up to and the days after are really potent as well. It's not just like, oh, the day of the full moon or, oh, the day of the new moon is the only time that energy is viable. Like, no, not at all. So utilize that time. You've got a good day or two before and a good day or two after, whatever moon phase it happens to be. So use that, It's not just the day of. So, that having been said, it's time to really dig into the Four of Swords. And what is the Four of Swords energy? That energy is all about rest. That energy is stillness. And it doesn't necessarily mean just because you are still or just because you are resting that you're not doing anything. I know personally, for example, like, I struggle with that belief of like, oh, well, I've been sitting all day, like I shouldn't be tired or whatever. We have a lot of resistance as a society around not being productive with our time. And what's interesting to me about that is that most of the time we're not actually being productive. We're just kind of spinning our wheels, doing things for the sake of being busy. And that's not productivity. That's just wasted energy, basically. When we get into the cycles of doing, but not really intentionally doing anything or not taking that time to be like, hold on a minute. What the fuck is it that I am doing? What are the actions I'm taking? What is the strategy that I have? Because I'm still not at my fucking goal yet. Like, I'm still here stuck in these same patterns, in the same cycles, doing the same things over and over again. And I don't understand why I haven't reached this goal. I don't understand why I haven't gotten to this place yet. And the fucking reason for that is because we don't take this time to acknowledge, to review, to assess what it is that we're doing and why. And so when we're in this period of the Four of Swords, which, like I said, is like a restful period. It's not a period of physical action. It's a period of internal work, right? This is about like looking at what exactly it is, doing that internal work of what am I doing and why am I doing it, so that you can then readjust where it is that you're fucking going and what it is that you're doing in order to get there. Because this is what I see countless times over is my clients, my friends, myself. We get into our cycles and we're in our routines because our subconscious mind is running the show. So it's always going on the programs that are constantly running. And unless we are consciously aware of and consciously changing those things, right? We're just going to keep running the same programs, doing the same things over and over and over again, wondering why we're still not where we want to be, right? So now is the time, and especially before we get into eclipse season. And I don't know about you, but this time every year is a really transformational time. And the reason for that is so much stuff is coming up. We have Saturn retrograde, Pluto retrograde, Jupiter, I think, is still retrograde. So we have all these main hitter planets that are in retrograde. I want to say Neptune is also in retrograde. So we have these heavy hitters that are like, hey, we're just going to come in and start breaking things down now because it's fucking time. And if you're not ready, oh well. You had all this time to get there. So right now is the perfect opportunity to do that, right? And so a lot of the time we feel like, oh my gosh, I wasn't ready for that change, or this thing happened and like it just kind of threw everything out of whack. My whole life is different now and blah, blah, blah. And we look at them in these ways of being like, why is this happening to me? You know, we see this as a negative, but the truth is that if these things wouldn't have happened for us, we would still be in the same shit, right? And I've said this before, but we each have a curriculum to learn here. And when the universe is like, okay, I'm going to give you this lesson, now this one, now this one, now this one, if we're not learning from those things, it's going to keep giving us the same lesson over and over and over and over again. And it's going to get more challenging over time because the universe is like, well, okay, like that's cool. You didn't quite see it over here, so I'm going to make it bigger and more obvious so that you have the awareness that this is what you're supposed to be learning. And we still don't see it. And so it gets to this point where it builds so much that it feels like our entire lives are falling apart because we're not fucking looking at what we're supposed to be looking at, because we're so consumed with whatever the fuck it is we're consumed with. And there's nothing wrong with that. But this is why these times are so fucking crucial. Instead of constantly spinning your wheels, doing, going, being productive, stop. Because guess what? If you're doing all this work and you're still not at your goal, what is it that you are doing? Right? What are you doing? So this is why this time is important. This is why taking a step back, observing what it is that you're doing, observing your processes, asking yourself the important fucking questions that I know can be really difficult sometimes, but you gotta do it anyways. Asking yourself, okay, what actions am I taking? And why am I taking them? Are they getting me closer to where I want to be? Right? And we all have excuses. We all have things that we procrastinate on, or that we say, oh, well, you know, like that'll never happen for me, or blah, 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 or it has to take this amount of time. Like healing, for example. I hear a lot of people say, oh, well, that takes years. Says fucking who? Like, no. If that's what you believe, that's fine. And that's what you're going to see in your reality. But if you believe that healing gets to be easy and quick and you get to learn and, you know, really take away what you're meant to take away from these things, and you get to do it in a quick but effective manner, then that's what you're going to see. But to say inherently that healing takes years is some bullshit. That's just your personal view on what healing does or is, or how long it takes, just like it's my view that it doesn't need to fucking take that long. But it's not inherently true that it has to take years. So that's something to think about. What is it that you're still not doing, that you're still holding yourself back from? Because you feel like it has to take a long time. Well, I have to be doing X, Y, Z for this amount of time before I get to see this payout. Right? Because we say all these things to ourselves, and we continue to do all these things, take action in certain ways. For what? Because someone else said that was tried and true, or because someone else said this is how you have to do it. Like, stop and question that shit. Like, we don't use our discernment and our discrimination enough in order to really stop and realize, like, wait a minute. Since when does this need to take me that long? Since when do I have to do all this bullshit to get to where I want to be? Since when, says who, do I have to live by these rules? If you're living by someone else's rules, then you're always going to be doing that. Then you're always going to be in that cycle because you don't see yourself as the authority. Your subconscious mind is like, oh no, I guess I have to be looking outside of myself to find the authority. And this is where you need to say, whoa, hold on a minute. Like, so I'm living my life for other people. So I'm taking action, doing things, feeling things, thinking things based on other people. Hold on. This is my life though. Like, I should be the authority. I should be in charge. I'm the captain of my own ship, etc. So, like, I need to step up into that role. And the way that we do that is to be aware that we're looking to authority outside of ourselves to begin with, you know? So, take this time from now until the new moon. Take this time to figure out what it is that you're doing, what it is that you believe, how it is that you're taking action, and for whom. Are you taking it genuinely for yourself from your own set of rules, or are you taking action and doing things, thinking things, believing things, feeling things because someone else told you that that's how it's done? Okay? So that's what's coming through right now in this Four of Swords, is really just about going internally and dismantling the shit that's old paradigm, that's like fucking done, it's expired, why are you still holding on to it? Right? That's like if you opened your refrigerator and every single thing in it was expired, would you eat it or drink it? Like, probably not, right? You would be like, what the fuck is this? Like, no, this is expired, it needs to go in the trash. This is moldy, it needs to go in the trash. Like, you wouldn't fucking hang on to that, right? I mean, at least I would hope not. Throw it away. Because it's not doing you any good to sit around holding on to this old, decaying shit. And sometimes we do that because we believe like, oh, well, if I don't keep it, then what if I never get it again? No. If it's old, if it's rotting, if it's moldy, throw that shit away and go get something else. Go get something new. Go get something you want that's not old. That's not rotted, that isn't from years and years and years ago, right? So here's the thing. There is no way that if something was meant for you, that it's just, gonna pass you by and be like, oh, well, sorry, you didn't reach out and take me when you had the chance, so too bad for you. No. You have to recognize the opportunities, though. And so if you're still holding on to all of this old moldy bullshit, how your arms are full. How could you possibly reach for something new that you actually want if you can't even let go of what you have, right? So it's time to figure that out. It's time to go through all of that stuff and see, like, okay, this stuff is all dead. This stuff is gross. I don't want it. It doesn't work for me anymore. It doesn't fit. I don't like it. Whatever. Get rid of it. It's not as difficult as we make it. We always are like, oh my God, well, how am I going to, like, we complain and we stall and we procrastinate about getting rid of all this shit. Fucking do it. Rip the Band-Aid off. There's absolutely no reason for you to be nostalgic about things that are not serving you anymore. Right? You can be like, oh, well, that was a time in my life and, like, I'm done now. Like, I'm done. And so it's up to you to really then at that point step into what exactly it is that you are wanting to grasp, that you are wanting to plant, that you are wanting to see manifest in the world. But before you do that, you have to get rid of the old stuff. You have to. Because you can't grab something new with your hands full. Right? You have to drop it all first. Okay? So, that is your homework. Go through, really dig deep, think about what it is that you're doing, what rules you live by, how you take action, and why. Why do you do these things? And are they getting you closer to where you want to be? Or is it taking you further away from where you want to be? Be fucking honest with yourself, because it doesn't do you any good for you to be like, oh yeah, well, this is getting me closer a little bit at a time. No, it isn't, and you know it. Like, be real with yourself, because if you're not real with yourself, there's no way in hell you're real with other people. That's just how it works. So, dig deep, be fucking honest with yourself, get it done, and watch how your fucking life changes. Like, no one is gonna do this for you. No one is gonna come and hit you over the head with a magic wand and be like, okay, your life is different now. You have to take charge and do that shit. I'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.